Hey guys, welcome back to the Master Wing channel. This is a fun game. Thank you for tuning back in wherever you are. I hope I can earn your subscription for your attention and your time. Trying to make some good content for this card drawing, engine building, fun having, resource managing game we like to call Wingspan. Hopping right into Oceania, of course, we have the Pileated Woodpecker and the Little Penguin. This is a post-game commentary, and I just have to say it's a good game. I'm a little under the weather, so please excuse me. One thing that steers me towards the Little Penguin, I know it's a very I don't know if divisive is the right word, but it's hot or cold. That bird can be awesome or terrible. But that star nest with the Pileated Woodpecker makes me lean towards the Little Penguin, and then I take the Horsefield's Bushlark because, you know, why not? It's something to throw in the grassland. You discard a seed for 2 eggs, I believe. And, you know, these bushlarks aren't as bad as I originally thought, especially with Oceania, and eggs are hard to come by, and food is not. So tell me if you've had any success with the Horsefield's Bushlark. I know Thecla's was kind of a thorn in many people's side. But anyway, this is a ELO game, not a tournament game. But since can't even speak. Since there wasn't 2 nectar in the tray, you'll see me a lot of times keep an extra card just to snipe those 2 right off the bat. It really helps speed up my round 1. Since there wasn't, we went ahead and stuck the Pileated Woodpecker down first. There wasn't anything amazing in the tray. I do think about this Australian magpie, this yellow power. Once you get it in the first or second slot, it says for adjacent, or not adjacent, birds in the same column and row, you can discard an egg for caches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think you can cache like, 12 seeds. So it's basically a 10-point bird in the first slot if you can make the Australian magpie work. The thing I didn't like the Australian magpie is that the Little Penguin only has 1 egg space, and I wasn't sure if I was going to commit myself to the Australian magpie. So instead, we elect to gain food a couple times, and here we are, throwing down the beloved Little Penguin. I'm getting a good start on the nectar battle. My opponent has the OG Willet down, and I'm hoping this Little Penguin does some work. If the power's not any good, for those of you out there who have had some tough times, at least the power is fun. It is climactic. There is a little bit of suspense flipping over 5 cards to see if you can cash any fish. And looking back, I wish I would have tried that Australian magpie. I said the Little Penguin only had 1 egg space, and it actually has 2. So this might have been a perfect time to try that yellow power, but today's not the day. We get 1 fish out of 5 cards, Little Penguin. It is still early. That star nest is still helping me with the Pileated Woodpecker. And wow, kelp gull in the tray. That's interesting as well. The cold tit, of course, another cavity nest. And the end-around gull, birds with no eggs, which can be tricky with the Pileated Woodpecker. I go ahead with the kelp gull, and wow, strike out completely with the Little Penguin. Not a good start. You got to have faith. We reveal Franklin's gull, big FG. Do y'all like this sped up footage? I'm sorry I didn't get my camera on today. You don't want to see this. But the Franklin's gull, I'm not sure if it's automatic pickup for me anymore. Maybe it is. Maybe it's worth the denial. Little Penguin, grab 2 fish. Why not? We've already activated that bird at least 3 times. And this tray just keeps on populating birds. The white stork. I know I have at least 1 bird in the back that I can play. So, this European honey buzzard. Yes, sir. Since it's round 1, I'll get at least 3 good activations. And maybe with that 4th end of round, with food in my personal supply, that honey buzzard, this is the time for it to work for me. I've had some heated discussions with myself on the European honey buzzard. It's failed me when I needed him most. So I'm hoping the honey buzzard was better than the Horsfield's bushlark. And check it out, 4 worms in round 1. That is what I'm talking about. Hopefully we can jumpstart our round 2. We do lose that first end of round, but no big deal. I'd like to start building out some type of grassland or a wetlands because, I mean, the Pelidid's okay, Little Penguin's okay, but not by itself, obviously. So we need to start building something. And I'm thinking, I think at this time that Eastern Bluebird paired with maybe the bobwhite that I have, or we may try that bushlark, and all of a sudden you've got maybe a 4 or 5 point grassland engine. I'm really struggling. I remember in this trying to find direction. You saw me draw cards 2 or 3 times trying to find something off the top of the deck, and the birds in the tray aren't really what I'm looking for. Princess Stephanie's Astrapia, I've had some success with, but of course it gives an egg to everybody. So I'm not really getting a surplus of points on that one. And we throw down the kelp gull. I think this bird isn't as strong as I originally thought, or I may reserve a little bit of judgment on that one. It may be too early to call, because if I had one of those games where I had 16 food because my opponent's handing out stuff, maybe the kelp gull could help me draw 10 or 12 cards at a time, and that'd be crazy. So I just know that I've my play style, I'm trying to utilize my food the best I can, and I don't know if I like discarding a bunch of food for the kelp gull's brown power. But here we are. Maybe we will discard some extra food. I don't remember every single exact move. Stubble quail pops up. I like the stubble quail. It is a way to grab eggs without laying eggs, of course. So my only issue I see here is for the kelp gull and the stubble quail, you need excess food. And I still can only grab 2 food and then maybe discard a card. I'd like to turn the stubble quail into a 10-point bird. That's what. Check it out, the penguin with the 5 fish cash. Jackpot. It is a 15-point bird. Wow. 5 fish in 1 hunt. That kind of makes up for that strikeout earlier. I think the little penguin is moving over more towards the light side and not the dark side. Of course, American Robin and Purple Martin in the tray. They lay eggs, use the Franklin's gull, and they leave the martin. I'm thinking that may be an escape strategy for me as we approach the mid-game. We only have 4 turns left, and then we're on the downhill. So I was happy to see the Purple Martin. We can tuck some extra cards now. I think I can utilize my Eastern Bluebird and then double play. And then here we go. We go from 5 fish to 0. Maybe the little penguin's tapped out. Let me know in the comments how many fish you have cashed on the little penguin. We only have 4 birds down. Usually by this time I'm approaching 6. It's just Oceania. It's that sped up game. But I haven't found that engine bird I'm looking for. Meanwhile, my opponent, of course, has FG and the white stork. And, of course, we still need to get some nectar into the grassland. Especially in a 2-player game, you at least want to grab those 2 points. Because if you lose, why not? You need every point in a 1v1 game. And here we go. Martin Energy. We now have a 3-point engine, people, and I can see possibly an in-game. I'd like to pair it with something else. We may try this bobwhite, we may try the bushlark, or we may try something else. We do have the ethologist bonus card, which gives you extra points for the power colors in a particular habitat. So I think we're sitting at 4. Yep. And there's still not that great engine pairing bird that I am looking for. So we're debating whether we gain food and play a bird. It looks like we are going to go for... Are we doing the bobwhite? We're sitting at 4-4 on the end of round goal. Worms in the food cost of your birds. And we do get to go last in this round. So I'm wondering if we go with the wait and see approach. Um, the fact that I have two seeds, we could go bushlark. If my opponent plays another bird with worms, okay, so they played the European bee eater, were two worms, and I'm looking through my cards, and I don't have a bird that is worth two worms, so we are going to take the L on the second end of round. We could play nuthatch, we could play bobwhite, and we could play the bushlark. Interesting take here. We play the nuthatch into mechanical engineer. You know how I feel about that. That's one of my favorite bonus cards now. I've got 8 points on the mechanical engineer just about every time. End of the round, the honey buzzard gets one worm. Not as good as round one, but it's still better than a strikeout. And check out the tray. We get to go first. Another jackpot moment is the Galah. Or maybe you pronounce that Galah. I don't know. Galah, Galah, either way, it is an amazing bird. Choose one other player. They reset the bird feeder and gain a seed if it's available. And check out those little penguin caches. I love it. But anyway, the Galah tucks two automatically no matter what. And so now I have Purple Martin, Galah, and I also picked up the Barrow's Goldeneye. So if my opponent lays eggs with that White Stork, the Franklin's Gull, the American Robin, I don't remember what they put with the Franklin's Gull, but we are going to snag some eggs with the Goldeneye. I have good memories about Barrow's Goldeneye, especially with a board full of cavity nests. Of course, our end of round goal is white and no powers. I think that's what made me lean towards the Corsican Nuthatch. I thought that was kind of a weird play. My opponent has played the Eastern Imperial Eagle just to smooth, 8 points for them. Trying to make up... I mean, the Penguin has a lot of caches, but I still think I may be behind right here. And it looks like we are leveling up for food to play a couple birds here. You know, it's probably too early in the Oceania journey. We played the base game before European expansion for a year, 2 years on the digital version. It was a long time before we got Europe, it felt like. And of course, it's going to be a long time before we get Asia. And it may be too early to say this about the Galah, but when I get the Galah, the fact that it can go in grassland or forest, it kind of feels like an auto-win bird for me. Most of the time, if I compare it with just something to score a point in the grassland, I mean, just 2 points on a brown power is just very strong. I mean, you look at the house finch, you look at barn swallow and the American robin, and some of those birds that you looked out for all the time in the base game. My opponent plays New Holland Honey Eater, lets you grab a nectar in the tray. But you looked for those tucking, consistent 1 point birds. And birds like the Galah and the Noisy Miner, and some of these predator powers like the white-faced heron, the tawny frogmouth. I mean, there's several that I haven't even discovered yet. But you're getting 2 points per activation. And I just feel like, in a good way, that the Purple Martin, the House Finch, some of those birds that were always getting picked up, are taking a little bit of a back seat. I feel like I've been a little bit more selective, a little bit more picky with my tucking engines, because there are birds out there that can cache 2 or tuck 2 cards instead of 1. And the Galah is just simply one of those birds. And the Goldeneye finally gets down, and we already get an egg, so we are stealing a point off of their engine. I don't know. I like the Honey Eater, but a 0 point play this late in the game, I don't know if it's going to be worth it. It could be. It's taken us a while to grab a Galah. So, you know, I've got, 2 nectar left and a worm. And, of course, it's my last turn in the round. It's giving me that exclamation point that I'm going to lose the nectar. So, since I don't have all the food necessary for the Bob White, I'm thinking I do a stubble quail play right here, just because I don't want to lose the nectar. You could play the what is that? The bittern, but that's not really the direction I'm going with for my game. And the stubble quail can let me get rid of those extra food that I don't really need, and turn into a 4 point play and advance my engine just a little bit. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I think what's better in this grassland that I'm fighting lately is to get to the third spot, right? So you can discard 2 eggs or discard 2 food. But there's also the argument, just max out your grassland as soon as possible, because then you're laying 4 guaranteed eggs every time. I'm asking for a lot, but tell me what you think in the comments about these grassland engines. I do not think the grassland is dead, so to speak, for the Oceania expansion. 5 turns left in the game. The GoldenEye has proven a worthwhile play, and is the Mississippi Kite worth it? You want to max out the Mechanical Engineer. There's nothing in the tray that I think I want, although that white-faced ibis is 8 points. Looks like we simply go with laying eggs here, which will be a 4, 6, 7 point play with the martin, and I'm hoping maybe we grab something. Do we take the white-faced ibis maybe as a denial? Yeah. So I don't know if we plan on playing that or not. It seems like I need another food resource, and you have to weigh the pros and cons there, if it's worth dipping into a forest when you have a Galah engine. And I have plenty of egg space, I think. 4 turns left. What do we have? We got 18 spots of eggs. You know, it may just work out perfect with the GoldenEye to max out our eggs. And we're already sitting at 102 points. My opponent has played some big point birds. That Golden Eagle went down. And of course they had the Imperial Eagle. Did we max out Mechanical Engineer? I did not see that. We have 2 cavity nests. We have 2 ground nests. We have 2 platform nests. But we do not have bowl nests. Wow. So the one time I talk... Well, the one time I kind of brag about Mechanical Engineer, this may be the first game where I only score 3 points instead of 8. I'm not seeing the bowl nests, and I don't think it's worth drawing cards just to see if we can grab playable bonus bowl nest birds. So I'm thinking, even though it's a little boring, this Galah and Martin are acceptable. They're doing fine. I've got 3 turns left with egg space. Let's just lay eggs. The rest of the game is what I'm thinking. Sometimes it's hard to just stick to the basic and simple plays. I know these 9 and 8 point birds are staring at me, but I believe laying eggs with a 7 point engine is better 2 or 3 times in a row than only scoring 1 point in the forest and then playing a 7 point bird. It doesn't even help me with my Mechanical Engineer. I think we just let it lay and try to score 21 points the remainder of the game. Maybe we get some extra points with the GoldenEye. It's a decent game. It's a decent game. I would have liked to have had one more 5th, point scoring bird in that grassland, but we were doing some digging and we just couldn't find it. And with 2 turns left, we can still use our extra food. I like that you can discard a card or discard a food in this Oceania layout. It just gives you more options, more ways to score points. I think I will keep 1 worm just in case my honey buzzard completely strikes out. We do want to qualify for the food in personal supply. And with my opponent sitting at 5 food, it looks like they're going to win that anyway. I may be repeating myself here, but we are going to win the grassland nectar battle, and we will be tied, it looks like, for the forest and the wetlands. I've seen worse. That doesn't look like a huge nectar disparity. This Galah, man, I mean, I'm not tired of talking about it. It's sitting, what, a 13 point bird right now? And I know we've been giving my opponent seeds, but I'm thinking with their white stork, they haven't found that awesome point generating bird. They stuck the late game honey eater. Well, I say that, and they've been throwing the cerulean warbler down and the prothonotary warbler. I take it back. They have some big point bombs. I'm not sure if 121 is enough to win this game, and that's what we're sitting at right now. I think we're going to add, another 7 points to that. We didn't do great on our bonus cards. We got 6 points with Ethologist. That Corsican Nuthatch did come in handy. And we go ahead and lose the 4th end of round. I'm not so sure we're winning this game. I think in the OG game with the European expansion, White Stork and Franklin's Gull was almost an auto win. But can we compete? Thank you for sticking with me. Please consider subscribing. I hope you enjoyed the content. It was sped up, but it was still fun. 27 eggs. Let's go. Check out those caches and the tucks. 131 to 102. I thought it'd be a little closer, but 11 caches. I owe it to the little penguin, the jackpot little penguin, and the jackpot Galah. 10 tucks. And that made the difference, people. They have a ton of cards in their hand. Goodness sake. They had Nest Box Builder and Omnivore Expert. And would they play 11 birds? And we played 10. Not bad. The GoldenEye, honorable mention. Thank you for watching. Peace.